Now moving into item number 28, Mr. Mayweather. Welcome you to the table, sir. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Good. Appreciate you being here this morning. Just thank you. This is more of a discussion than it is anything else. I want to remind everybody, this is not a disciplinary hearing. This is an opportunity for us to have a conversation with Mr. Mayweather, and Mr. Mayweather to have a conversation with us. We're here today to kind of discuss some of the issues that we perceive to have seen, or I have perceived to have seen on the All Access show. And I think you understand some of the concerns that have been raised from that episode. And at this time, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce the team that's here with you today, and then go ahead and address the issue if you want to, or we can go ahead and start with any of the questions.
My lawyer, Shane Emmerich, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerby, and as far as the issue with All Access, it's all about entertainment, and no one filmed, a certain amount of time, with the guys sparring. We do take breaks when we spar, and I make sure everything is handled in a proper manner and a respectful manner. I mean, I'm not going to let no one get hurt, because safety is very important, in the sport of boxing. Of course, I got 2 fights left, and safety is going to be very important for the fights that come that's under my banner. And as far as, and then there's another thing, it was touching on the marijuana situation, which that is props. It wasn't real marijuana. It's all about entertainment, and it's about, of course, because this is a new generation, a younger generation, and we believe in going outside the box, doing things that's different. And by us doing things that's different, we got better numbers on pay-per-view this time around.
Shelby, it's good to see you here today. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can you, and I think the reason why we're all here is we're concerned about the safety. Safety is a big issue for us, and that's our responsibility as a commission, is to ensure the safety and health of the fighter. Just I know you take safety extremely serious given the situation we had, the May 3rd fight, and I know you're concerned about that and you want to ensure that everybody in there is safe. Can you kind of, the situation you're discussing involves what was called, I guess, the doghouse.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned that you don't allow.
When I box 15-minute rounds. Sometimes 27 minutes straight. Yes, I do it because I've been doing this my whole life. But other fighters, we let them take breaks. Any other fighters, and all the other fighters that's in the gym, we let them take breaks. We monitor it. We watch everyone box. We make sure every workout is monitored by our whole staff and my whole team.
And when you say your whole team and your whole staff, who is it that has the main responsibility? Because I know you're a busy guy of overseeing the operations of the gym and ensuring that that is occurring.
On an everyday basis?
Yes.
We have Bob Ware. We have former world champion Canadian Spencer Edwards, Rafael Garcia. We got Solomon John Sinclair. We got Gerald Sinclair. So our gym we have a whole staff.
And on that night of the episode that was shown, were these individuals present to ensure that these guys were in a safe environment?
When the guys are boxing in the doghouse, when it becomes the doghouse work, I'm not working out when they're boxing. I'm there to monitor and watch everything that's going on myself. So I make sure everyone is watching, but I make sure that I'm watching myself. And I'm monitoring every workout, every sparring session when I'm in the gym.
And to touch on that, another thing that Floyd is, in my direction, we brought on a few professional trainers, former fighters, because that was one of his concerns about, the young up-and-coming fighters. We wanted to have someone in place who had a lot of experience with some of the younger guys and would know how to, monitor their preparation, etc.
And I've been in the gym before, and I've seen it operate pretty smoothly. Mr. Commissioner Brady took me a couple of times to the gym. And in that episode, it occurred to me that it looked different than, and I understand TV is different than what actually occurs. So my question is, when you're deciding who goes in the doghouse, and I know it was kind of in that situation, it was just a random moment of people talking and challenging each other. But is there a structure in which you decide how to pair up a sparring session?
Well, we're not gonna let a lightweight box a heavyweight or nothing like that. I mean, the weight, I mean, sometimes it's so, it can't be more than, it can't be more than, 20 pounds. As far as, no, sometimes it's professional, it's professionals and amateurs. But we monitor it the right way. We make sure everyone's protected. We make sure that they got their boxing in the right ounce gloves, 16-ounce gloves. If it's heavyweights, 18-ounce gloves. So we make sure the work is the right way. We're not just letting anybody get in there and work. No one can just come off the street and come in there and just work. And when you come into the gym, you have to sign a waiver.
Right.
Mr. Chairman? I'd like to make a comment. I may be roasted by some for making it, but I've attended many of the gyms in the town multiple times. I've been by the Mayweather gym multiple times. I never call to make an appointment. I always come in unannounced, and I'm gonna make a statement here that the Mayweather gym has the most trainers that I've seen in any of the gyms. It is watched closely. I've seen the sparring. When a person gets tagged hard, it's stopped. It's a very disciplined gym, and I know that isn't maybe what a lot of people want to hear, but I have to say what I've seen and what I believe. And they're a very disciplined gym with lots of trained personnel there, and I've never seen anything that would be detrimental or harmful to any fighters there. Just the opposite of that. And I would even compliment Mr. Albee and Mr. Mayweather for the gym that's run. That's been my personal experience that I've seen with my own eyes. Very well run gym, and what I saw on TV was totally out of anything I've ever seen or felt when I was there.
Thank you. Commissioner Lindahl?
Mr. Mayweather, let me first start by thanking you for voluntarily appearing here. I know that there was a subpoena that was issued to you, that subpoena had defects, and I'm certain that your attorney picked up those defects. You did not have a duty or an obligation to appear, but you came anyway, and so we appreciate very much you doing so. Okay? One question that I have, it concerns what I saw concerning the sparring session. The fighters had headgear, is that right?
Yeah.
Can you explain what the purpose of the headgear is in a training session?
Of course, to protect the head. I mean, because with professionals, when we fight, I mean, it's more brutal without the headgear. You're more protected with the headgear because it's padded. That's the difference between amateur and professional. I mean, but even in the gym, if you're boxing without a headgear throughout your career, sparring without a headgear, you're not going to really have a long career. I don't think so. So the headgear plays a major role just in boxing, period, in professional sparring and in amateur boxing.
And I think most people who follow boxing have an understanding that it's there for the protection of the fighters. Is that
Yes,
correct?
absolutely.
And the sparring sessions that are conducted then within your gym, typically do the fighters then wear headgear? during
Always.
Sparring
Always.
sessions? All right.
You cannot box. You cannot spar without a headgear.
In addition, when I watched the All Access program, and I also saw a number of YouTube clips, they stop and they start. There's not a continuous feed of the sparring session. Can you tell me what was going on when it was stopped? It appeared that there were breaks that were being given, but I can't see that, so I'd like for you to explain that to me.
Well, with All Access, we're able to edit and chop footage up like we want to chop and edit footage. A lot of times you can look and you can see me, you can see myself with a certain outfit on. Then when I get inside and spar, I have a total different outfit on, but everyone thinks it's the same outfit. But the piece that they cut is edited. Everything that we do, you can edit it how you want it edited.
And what I'm interested in particular is, even on the YouTube feeds that I had access to, they're not a continuous feed of the particular sparring session that you're being asked some questions about. Were there breaks in that sparring session across that 30-minute time frame?
Yes, it was more than 3 or 4 breaks.
And when in fact that you talked about that you yourself spar, for, I think your words were, 15 minutes, and you've even gone up to 27 minutes on your personal sparring sessions.
Yes.
When you have extended sparring sessions like that, what is the training purpose behind that? Is it an endurance issue? Is it a ability to take a hit issue? What's the training objective?
I do it for endurance. That's why I'm able to compete with these guys that's a lot younger than I am, because I'm able to box and for a long period of time. So it has helped me throughout my career.
And so that endurance training is no different than like what a long distance runner is going to do, or a basketball player is going to do, run lines, or something of that nature. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, well, it's all for endurance. That's what I use it for. I mean, I was the first one doing it, and then all the other fighters. Because a normal boxing round in our gym is a 5-minute round. I mean, we don't work by a bell. We work by a clock.
If I could just add one thing to that. The boxers on the other side, there are multiple boxers, not one sparring partner for the 27 minutes.
Yeah, I got
could
more
be,
than
because
6.
a fresh one will come out, He rotates while Floyd stays there.
All right, so when you talk about the personal sessions, and then I would imagine any of the extended sessions that are for the other athletes, is the goal there to also, as a part of endurance training, and to build up that particular athlete's endurance?
Well, it all depends on who's getting ready for a fight. Most of the time, I'm getting ready for a fight. So we'll have 7 to 8 different guys. So I will box probably 9 minutes with one guy. He'll get out. 9 minutes with another guy. He'll get out. Then 9 minutes with another guy, which is 27 minutes.
One last series of questions I have for you, and this is on my own personal interest in trying to further the participants in the Louisville brain study. Are you a participant in the Louisville brain study?
I didn't really know nothing about that.
All right. Do you know whether or not any of your fighters within your gym that participate in your gym participate in that Louisville brain study?
I'm not really sure, but we wouldn't mind being a part of it.
Let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a study, I think actually it was Commissioner Aguilar that came up with the idea with representatives of the Cleveland Clinic that is located there on Bonneville, in the Symphony Park area. And what they wanted to do was to try to develop a study that evaluated athletes similar to yourself, licensees from this particular commission, to look and to evaluate those athletes across a long period of time, to see if they could identify some biomarkers to help with the health and safety and the training of those athletes, as well as their participation in contest. It's a voluntary process. There's great benefit to the individual fighter because they get medical testing, they get medical services, all at no cost to themselves. And so there's an individual benefit to that fighter. There's also a benefit to the sport overall. One of the things that, from my perspective, what we would hope to see is that maybe that now that you have your promoter's license, that you would encourage some of the athletes under your guidance then to participate in the study, and for yourself to participate then in it as well, for the betterment of the sport as well as for the individual athletes then that you have this sport.
Yes, ma'am, we just enrolled 2 people.
Thank you very much, Leonard.
And just to clarify, that information is not sent to the commission. We made a distinct decision to keep that separate from the commission because we want the fighter to be able to control their life and their decisions from a medical perspective, and not feel as though whatever they hear and see from the doctor, that it's automatically going to come to us and create an issue for them with the profession.
And it's not financially supported by the commission or the state.
So-
So it's an independent
Separate.
fundraising.
I guess one last issue that I wanted to, at least to ask you a couple of questions upon. There were some questions that were posed to you concerning the marijuana filming in the All Access. And my understanding that it was props.
Yes.
Explain to me how that works.
But we got people that works. We have a staff, that works on All Access, and we're able to get different props. Whatever we need for the show, and we wanted to actually do something different, because we're like I said, I'm in the business. I don't look at it as just a sport. I think outside the box. And I think that show got the most remarks out of all the shows we ever done on Showtime. Like one of the most interesting shows, because I don't want to just sell. I don't want to just sell a fight. I like to sell a lifestyle. I'm not encouraging no one to go out and do nothing like that. But we like to be outside the box. Very controversial.
Currently, this commission, our regulations regarding marijuana deal with in-competition use. We do testing, as part of our performance enhancing drug program. And so,
I'm the one that brought you cider to the table.
and so I guess, have there ever been any issues with you not passing any of our tests concerning our performance enhancing drug program?
No, not at all.
And to the extent that, explain to me kind of what education that you give to other athletes that train in your gym, as to the importance of our prohibition against performance enhancing drugs, and how that's not a allowed or permitted use as part of their training process.
Well, actually, we had a couple of fighters. I think Lenny can touch on this subject. We had some fighters that took a diet supplement, and I guess it was something that was illegal in his system. So we took him off the shelf. Basically, we didn't let him fight for a long period. And then we had some other guys that done the same thing. We didn't let them fight for a long period, but everybody, all the fighters see you decide to come to the gym almost every day for random blood and urine testing.
Mr. Mayweather has been a leader by example. He's been the face, been the person out front about being a clean athlete. He's leading by example. He's been doing that for a number of years, and that's what we preach to our fighters.
And that's something that's actively been talked about, discussed in the gym and for the other fighters that train there?
Yes, I have staff meetings, if you want to call it, with all the fighters under my banner twice a month.
Those are all the questions that I have. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Excuse me, if you're on the telephone, can you please put your phone on mute? We can hear everything you're saying. Thank you. Commissioner Marnell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've answered a lot of the questions that I had this morning. But are you aware that to let the amateurs fight in your gym, that you need a license to do that?
Yes, we are.
And do you have that license?
Yes, we're the amateurs train. We've done all the necessary things as far as making them sign waivers, etc. Going through the having a business license in place. Yes, we do.
But do you have the amateur license? I
The-
don't believe you do. I don't want to lead you down a bad path. I want to be honest about it. I don't believe you do, based on the records that we have. And the reason I asked the question is that the way we've understood this is that the USAB has insurance policies for amateurs. And if they're doing anything outside of what would be considered the normal course of business for training, if something bad were to happen, God forbid, which was my concern in this, knowing that television is television, but if there was some truth to a 31-minute round, if something happened to one of those fighters, those life insurance policies are null and void. And you guys take on, regardless of your waivers, you can take on an extraordinary amount of liability. And it's not good for Mayweather Promotions, it's not good for Mr. Mayweather, it's not good for the state of Nevada, it's not good for the governor, it's not good for the athletic commission. And so you answered some of the questions today, and I want to confirm that you had said there were 3 or 4 breaks in that 31-minute round, is that correct?
But like, it may be a 5-minute break,
Okay.
6-minute break.
Okay, so that helps me a tremendous amount from what I saw. There was one other point, Mr. Mayweather, that I don't know who the fighter was in the show, and I want to confirm this with you, that it appeared as if he was wearing blue headgear. It was the first part in episode 2 where the doghouse had just started, and the fighter looked to be appeared like he had been hit pretty good and couldn't get up. Tried to get back up, was wobbling around, but kind of went back down and got back up.
Yeah, but
Was that
we
fighter
stopped.
hurt, or was that for show?
Oh no, I mean, he had a flash knockdown, but
Okay.
I mean, of course, it's all about entertainment.
Is that fighter okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Was there anything after that fighter
No.
not getting, I mean, when we have a fighter go down, as you know, in a fight, we've got a brain surgeon sitting next to us, we've got 2 doctors next to us.
Yes,
And that
absolutely.
fighter's gone to the hospital, guaranteed, no questions asked.
And we understand our duty that if a fighter is injured in training, that we must report it to the athletic commission.
But-
And there was no injury.
Okay. You'd said earlier about a 20-pound delta is what you'll allow.
Yeah, about a 20 pound.
What was the weight difference between Hakeem Rockman and Donovan? Because they had made it sound in the show like we had a heavyweight going against the guy at 154 pounds.
No,
And
he
that's
talking about he wanted to
articles-
fight at 154. He walked around at 185.
Okay.
I think it's
He
like
looked
one-
bigger than that to me, but.
Yeah, he about 180. He about 6 foot something. I don't know about he about 185. And I seen Rockman's like 200.
Okay, great. So there was pouring of the water on the heads to cool the fighters off, is that for show? Or was that getting deep into 8 or 9 minutes, guys can't lift their arms? Because there appeared to be some points in the show where one fighter had his glove, left glove on the head and was just teeing off, one after the other, after the other. And at that point, the show didn't show that it could stop, did not get stopped, 'cause it looked like the fighter that was taking the shots was defenseless.
Talking about the first.
I believe it was the first
That's
one.
how I seen Rockman. We stopped there early. 3 rounds.
Okay,
I stopped at I think 3 rounds. Yes.
okay. Okay, I do have one other question. Being a gambling guy, about the gambling. And
Mr. Chairman?
And I'd like to-
May I interrupt you? You're going to ask a question on gambling. I thought this was limited to the all-access show.
that was the all access show.
Was there gambling?
I don't know if there was.
Oh, you're
gambling
talking
per
about
se,
the money
but there was an
for the
exchange.
cameras. Okay, I thought you were going to go into
Nah, I
the
think
personal life.
he's just trying to get a clarification. I think he's
I mean,
asking.
in the state of Nevada, you know that's a serious issue.
Of course.
So I just want to
Let me
clarify.
take that one.
Go ahead.
Obviously, there's no gambling in the gym. That's illegal. This is a reality show, and once again, part of the dog pound and what was depicted there, somebody pulled out some cash, and I'll take this person, I'll take that person. But that's all reality show. It does not happen.
So you're stating that to the commission that that does not occur at the Mayweather gym at any time?
Absolutely not.
That's an exchange of cash based on a result of an event.
Yes, it would not happen.
Excuse me.
And as far as the marijuana, obviously, Mr. Mayweather would not risk failing a drug test for secondhand smoke that contained actual THC. And he's never failed one. Doesn't partake in drugs or alcohol, as the commission knows.
Okay.
I think as you said it best, Mr. Mayweather, you create controversy to draw attention to get viewers and buyers of tickets, and I think you can see our concern rise to that level, and so obviously you accomplished your goal in creating some concern by being here today.
You did a great job.
So and I appreciate the opportunity to have this conversation with you and your team, because a month ago or 2 months ago, we gave you a license to be a promoter here in Nevada. And that promoter license elevates your responsibility, not only as an individual and a hero to a lot of up-and-coming fighters, but as a promoter. And I want to ensure that we understand from you what you're trying to accomplish as a promoter, and also to understand from us what our concerns are and what our perception is when we see something or hear something that may not actually be what it is. And so we have an obligation to ask those questions. And I know I enjoy working with Mr. Ellerby a ton. I enjoy answering his questions when I can and seeing the events you put on here in Nevada. But still, you accomplished your goal. I think you stated it well, and we appreciate you being here. And the questions aren't to, like I said before, it's not a disciplinary hearing. This is an opportunity for us to have a conversation, to answer any questions that we may have. Mr. Marnell, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to...
This answers a lot of my questions and a lot of my concerns, and I think in the future, if it would be good on the side, Leonard, if you want to inform the commission prior to the airing of these shows that, hey, we're going to have some controversy, here's what took place.
Sure.
Here's what you're going to see, and we can put all this to bed and not have to go through this again, so we're in the know. Sure, we got to understand it in our position as regulators watching a show like that. You know, when I first watched it, I was sitting back going, oh my God, please tell me that this stuff did not happen. With the world's best compound fighter, we got a real problem, and we don't want him to go through that or want the state to go through that. So a little more upfront on the Mayweather movies would be appreciated.
Mr. Chairman, may I just?
Yeah, Mr. Commissioner Avancino.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Avancino, all yours.
Thank you all for attending. I know it was not necessary. It's an opportunity for us to confirm our judgment in granting you a promoter's license, and I think you have acquitted yourself exceedingly well this afternoon or this morning. May I ask you just a couple of questions, you and Mr. Ellerby, to broaden the scope of potentially other gyms? Do you find other gyms, or do you understand that other gyms can conduct these type of sparring events that were disclosed in All Access?
No, we're not aware of anything that goes on in any other gyms. We just try to lead by example, practice the proper health and safety with our own fighters.
Thank you, Mr. Ellerby. Mr. Mayweather, how do you select your sparring partners for your, say, 20-minute time frames, and you let each one come 6-7 minutes, or do you have a team that helps select the individuals to hone certain skills of yours?
That's most of the time. Cornelius Edwards, he chooses the sparring partners, and most of the time, it's a fighter with a lot of experience. We don't like to choose a guy that's real green. We like to choose a guy with a lot of experience.
Thank you. I think all the commissioners have asked the pertinent questions, and again, I thank you for coming here, and sorry that it has been necessary.
Commissioner Brady?
Well, I was just going to say you do things like do controversial, and it's been mentioned, alert the commission if you're doing something maybe over the line. I'm going to word my thing just a little bit different. We've had promoters in here before, just like today, because we felt they maybe crossed the line. Can you stay on the safe side of the line? Promote, come up with anything you imagine can, but when it comes to anything that might require us to bring you before the commission, step back over on the safety side. Okay? Because again, I've been in your gym in this, and I think you do a great job. I think you do a great job.
Any other comments from the other commissioners? Very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayweather. Thank you, Mr. Ellerby. Thank you, Shane, for being here today. Appreciate your time.
Our pleasure.
Look forward to working with you. Good to see you.
Take care.
That concludes item number 28. We'll now move into item number 29. Disciplinary complaint against mixed martial artist Jonathan Jones. Mr. Jones?